Monkey Man 2024 is Dev Patel's directorial debut film about an unnamed protagonist seeking revenge. He's seeking revenge on the chief of police who killed his mother, as well as seeking revenge against the system that allowed it to happen. It is a deeply symbolic movie drawing on themes of national identity, religion and socialism. This video is going to explore how it relates specifically to Audrey Lorde's essay, The Master's Tools. Lorde's essay is a discussion on women's liberation. She examines the ineffective nature of trying to dismantle an oppressive system while acting within its boundaries, explaining that when we uphold prejudices from within the system, it is impossible to truly combat the oppression that people face. More broadly, it is used to explain the idea that if an oppressive system is to be overthrown, then we must reject all oppressive systems and ideas that have been implanted, because, inherently, those systems are designed to maintain the status quo and uphold the interests of the ruling class. This film is unashamedly political, and I think that Patel's symbolic references to Lorde were intentional and the basis of much of this film's plot. Let's start with the protagonist's first and unsuccessful assassination attempt. During this, he uses two main weapons, a .28 caliber revolver and the chief of police's own switchblade. The knife in the most literal sense is the master's tool, taken directly from the master in attempts to overthrow him. However, in a more symbolic way, the gun used by Monkey Man equally can represent the idea of the master's tools. The gun was bought and smuggled in by Monkey Man, so in the literal sense, the gun belongs to him.
I'll take it.
However, it's what the gun represents that makes it a tool of the Master's. The specific type of gun used by Monkey Man is a short-range .38 caliber revolver. I believe a short-range revolver was picked as Monkey Man's main weapon on his first attack, to pay homage to the Wembley revolver, the standard issue sidearm for British officers during British colonial occupation of India. It was a weapon of authority and forced subservience. Times of India states, the Wembley was a symbol of British authority and was often used in close quarters combat. Its psychological impact was as significant as its physical one, representing the ever-present threat of British enforcement. The choice to use this type of gun is very deliberate,
.38 caliber revolver.
And the camera is given a long time to consider it. The weapon acts as a symbol of class struggle and the battle to hold on to national identity. It is in every way a tool of the Master's authoritative power. It is while Monkey Man uses these Master's tools, the knife and the revolver, that the assassination attempt fails. The film may be saying that he failed because the Master's tools were used. After this first failed attempt, Monkey Man is pursued by police, shot and falls unconscious. He's taken in and cared for by a group of gender non-conforming people, the Hijras. They're a group of people ostracised from society who have found community and peace away from the aggression and oppression of broader society. When asked why Alpha, the keeper of the temple, and the Hijras chose to help him, they respond with, "We all have scars."
Why did you help me?
You should have died from those injuries. The gods must have a greater plan for you. We all have scars.
In a way saying that many people have been hurt irreversibly by society at the oppressor's hand. For that reason alone, we should have sympathy for one another and be willing to fight for each other. Alpha is the keeper for the temple of the gods Parvati and Shiva.
Beautiful, isn't she? One half devotion, the other destruction. Male, female, neither. Both. Some people find that strange, but Vijay doesn't understand it completely.
I think Dev Patel picked Alpha as a mentor to Monkey Man, as they represent a unique position of non-binary. In gender, but in other ways as well. They act as a carer and healer, but also as a trainer. They are ostracised and isolated from society, and yet they've found community and family. They understand that Parvati and Shiva can exist in a state of opposition, combination, and neither. This makes them the perfect person to tell Monkey Man that
I learned that you need to destroy in order to grow. Create space for new life.
It's in this sentence that they speak how you can't cling on to your past if you want to change and flourish. But similarly, they're saying that revolutionary protest is necessary. You need to destroy the status quo in order to grow a newer, fairer society.
The rich don't see us as people.
Similarly, from her position as an outsider, it gives her a unique understanding of injustice. Lorde speaks in The Master's Tools that people who stand out with society's expected norms, like Alpha and Hydras, have a unique place to notice and combat injustice. Those of us who stand outside the circle of society's definition of acceptable women. Those of us who have been forged in the crucibles of difference. Those of us who are poor, who are lesbian, who are black, who are older. It is learning how to stand alone, unpopular and sometimes reviled, and how to make common cause with those others identified as outside of the structures, in order to define and to seek a world in which we can all flourish. It is learning how to take our differences and to make them strengths.
All your life you've been fighting to feel pain. You need to fight for a purpose. Fight for all of us.
In Monkey Man's second assassination attempt, the Master's tools were not used. Martin Luther King speaks how freedom is never voluntarily given by the oppressors, it must be demanded by the oppressed. In order for freedom to be achieved, the tools of the oppressed must be used. Only through this, freedom can be demanded. Monkey Man moves up through the levels of the brothel, and at each stage he uses a weapon belonging to a working class person on each floor. He starts on the ground floor with the chef's frying pan and knife, then the barman's bottle, and then the dancer's heel. All of these are tools of a working class industry, borrowed from members of the working class themselves. It is a statement for each of these particular tools to be repurposed, subverting the imagery commonly associated with each of them. Tools of oppression becoming tools of liberation. And through the adoption of each, it could be seen as Monkey Man pulling on the strength of each worker's industry and individuality. Lorde speaks on how it is through the power of each combined that we collectively can overthrow an oppressive power. Without community, there is no liberation. Only the most vulnerable and temporary armistice between an individual and her oppressor. But community must not mean shedding of our differences, nor the pathetic pretense that these differences do not exist. In our world, divide and conquer must become define and empower. Throughout Monkey Man's attack, none of the people who relied on the brothel for work were hurt. As advised by Lorde in her essay, none of those women who still define the Master's house as their only source of support were threatened, attacking only those who act to uphold the brothel and the power structures that it supports. None of the chefs or bartenders or dancers or any other working person who relies on the brothel for income was targeted or injured. It was only members of the private security and the police, as they are the ones who act to violently enforce the status quo while continuing to subjugate members of the working class. Lorde's essay echoes throughout Monkey Man in subtext, but also in the text directly through props and visuals, amplified by camera work and characters. I believe that Dev Patel deliberately and intentionally referenced Lorde throughout Monkey Man, and by using the Master's tools as an underpinning for the film's script, it added depth to the political messaging in the movie. Thank you for watching. This video took me a long time to get out, and I'm glad I'm finally getting it done. So thank you so much for sticking around this long. This film is amazing, and there's so much I could have talked about and decided to only focus on one tiny thing. So go watch the film and have your mind blown, it's so good.